We all know testosterone is good for muscle growth, that S3 actual health, and it's known as the man hormone. But what if I told you that there's actually a best friend of testosterone and something fundamental to men that scientists are discovering go hand in hand together? Without getting this optimized and taken care of, your precious testosterone is going to be stuck dead in its tracks. There is no real easy way out here either, as you will soon find out as I dig into the difference between the benefits and the risks of testosterone produced naturally by the brain and testes versus testosterone injected or administered synthetically. So, how does testosterone even work in the first place? Well, the process really begins in the hypothalamus, where the gonadotropin-releasing hormone, or GnRH, is secreted in pulses. This GnRH travels to the anterior pituitary gland, stimulating the release of luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH. LH then binds to receptors on Leydig cells in the testes, triggering testosterone synthesis through enzymatic conversion of cholesterol. The system is regulated by negative feedback, where high testosterone levels inhibit GnRH and LH release to maintain homeostasis. So here's the testosterone companion, the saving grace: blood flow.
So it sounds like just increasing blood flow and lowering blood pressure slightly is just a good thing all around.
How is blood flow, and nitric oxide specifically, stimulated naturally to get more precious nutrients and hormones to crucial areas throughout the body? Let's start with the area of the brain known as the hypothalamus. Now, this is the start when it comes to magic in the bedroom. The hypothalamus is what creates the signal to start production. Without this signal, there is really no blood flow. The hypothalamus is our buddy here. Of course, blood flow gets much more complicated than that, and its signaling originates from places like the autonomic nervous system, endocrine signaling, and thermoregulation. And it then comes from the heart. And then comes the super important ENOS, the endothelial nitric oxide synthase, which is an enzyme found in our endothelial cells, the cells that line all blood vessels throughout the entire body. Your cells require this enzyme and testosterone to produce that blood-pumping nitric oxide. To get those healthy testosterone levels, the hypothalamus signals to the pituitary gland, which then signals to the testes. These signals then go to your Leydig cells and tells them to start producing testosterone. And then that testosterone goes into your bloodstream. So blood flow and testosterone are actually much more closely related than you may expect. Not only do they have the commonality of the hypothalamus, but testosterone also plays a crucial role in nitric oxide synthesis. And then why is nitric oxide so important? I'm sure you've seen the supplements, you've seen people talk about nitric oxide boosting, pump the nitric oxide. And to be honest, I too am getting a little bit sick of this because no one talks about what it actually is and what you can do to improve it. And nitric oxide, or NO, is a critical vasodilator that regulates blood flow, vascular tone, and overall cardiovascular health. It is produced primarily by endothelial cells lining the blood vessels that I spoke about earlier and acts as a signaling molecule to relax smooth muscle, improve circulation, and reduce vascular resistance. Testosterone is then what is needed to be pulled in and put into work for the nitric oxide synthesis. You need that life force testosterone to interact with the nitric oxide production system within your body. Without it, nitric oxide production comes to a standstill. And this happens directly in the caverns in your blood vessels. This testosterone and nitric oxide relationship is the key to satisfaction in everyday life, that vigor and youth that you should be feeling. You see, testosterone influences blood flow primarily through its vasodilatory and vasoconstrictive properties. The studies cited in this review here suggest that testosterone can induce vasodilation by activating potassium channels in vascular smooth muscle cells, leading to relaxation of blood vessels and improved circulation. Additionally, testosterone interacts with nitric oxide, NO pathways, enhancing endothelial function and promoting vascular smooth muscle relaxation. Okay, enough of all these fancy words and science. What does this actually mean for us? Imagine testosterone and blood flow as a conductor and an orchestra in a grand symphony. Testosterone is the conductor, setting the rhythm and intensity of the performance. It signals the blood vessels, who are the musicians, to play their part, ensuring the smooth and powerful flow of circulation, which is the music. So when testosterone levels are optimal, the conductor cues the brass and strings, stimulating nitric oxide production, which relaxes and widens the blood vessels. This then allows for better blood flow and oxygen delivery. However, if the conductor is absent or offbeat, just like having low testosterone levels, the musicians become disorganized. The blood vessels constrict, the circulation slows, and the performance just lacks energy, which is like having reduced oxygen delivery, fatigue, and cardiovascular strain. On the other hand, too much testosterone, like having an overly aggressive conductor, might push the orchestra too hard, leading to excessive strain. Or in our terms, this can be vasoconstriction, increased blood clotting risk, or hypertension, aka high blood pressure. Like a perfectly orchestrated symphony, the balance between testosterone and blood flow is essential for peak performance, whether in physical strength, heart health, or just overall vitality. So, more testosterone, you would think, is better. But testosterone coming from unnatural sources is far from ideal. You may be like I was, super macho, always thinking that more is better. I remember even looking into taking estrogen blocking supplements as a teenager. Now, I didn't know it did that. I just found it on some website and I thought it helped with getting rid of estrogen, which I thought was bad for you. I heard that testosterone is for men and estrogen is for women. Boy, was I wrong. Thank God I did not touch those supplements. Now I know that it is all about balance and testosterone is no different. That is why if you think you can just inject yourself or take bioidentical testosterone and then have better blood flow, you're going to be sadly mistaken. There are studies that actually show this as well, with the negative blood flow and heart side effects of taking exogenous testosterone. This dual nature of testosterone's effects on blood flow indicates that its impact depends on dosage, individual health status, and endogenous versus exogenous administration. While physiological levels of testosterone appear to support healthy vascular function, supraphysiological levels, as in more testosterone that is found natural within the body, or imbalances can definitely pose cardiovascular risks. So not only is blood flow and in turn good testosterone levels naturally good for getting blood flow to proper areas of the body, but it is also crucial for your heart health. So too much and too little can both be a big problem. This study by the Journal of American Heart Association shows that low testosterone levels are associated with higher rates of all-cause and cardiovascular-related mortality. And proper testosterone levels have been shown in clinical studies to increase coronary artery diameter and flow. Keyword proper, because we want to increase this flow, but not too much. Proper testosterone levels have even been shown to have potential heart protective effects by helping to keep the heart's electrical activity more stable. It does this by shortening the time that heart cells take to reset between beats, reducing the chances of extra abnormal beats, which can lead to dangerous heart rhythms, and preventing the heart from taking too long to recharge, which is linked to sudden heart issues. Essentially, it helps the heart beat in a steadier, more controlled way. And this article from Harvard Health even talks about why men have heart attacks 200% more than women. So obviously, this is important for any man who truly cares about their health and well-being, and women as well for that matter. But where is the sweet spot here? How do we improve this if needed and get that precious blood flow that our body and our masculinity craves? The crucial step here to start is blood testing, seeing where the hormonal panel is at. You should talk to your primary care physician about testing for total cholesterol, ApoA1 and ApoB, total testosterone, free testosterone, bioavailable testosterone, sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, DHEA, estradiol, luteinizing hormone, aka LH, follicle stimulating hormone, aka FSH, dihydrotestosterone, aka DHT, your thyroid panel, your zinc levels, your red blood cell, RBC magnesium levels, and vitamin D, which includes the 25D and 125D tests. They are separate. And these are all great, but what can you actually do here? One way that this can actually be improved is by using the sauna, which increases circulation and vasodilation. But funny enough, excessive heat exposure can temporarily suppress sperm production by raising scrotal temperature, which is not ideal for long-term testosterone health. There's also been a positive impact on proper melatonin consumption with being preventative on heat damage. And you can get natural melatonin from things like tart cherries and tart cherry juice. Just make sure it doesn't have any added sugar. It should just be tart cherries and nothing else. And get organic if you can, because cherries are one of the most highly pesticide-sprayed fruits in the US. And pro tip here, cherries from Italy are usually a better bet. But this is something you have better luck finding a quality source online versus in store. And when it comes to actually supplementing melatonin, which is a whole video within itself, there are a few brands that are safe to take. I would avoid all supplements with added ingredients like maltodextrin and magnesium stearates, because if they're cutting corners at the expense of your health in their fillers, then they're much more likely to be cutting corners at the expense of your health in their main ingredients as well. So what I would do is I would personally combine the tart cherry and ice pack combo. Now the ice pack on the scrotum, which sounds kind of wild, actually works pretty well if you're in the sauna. You use a cloth or a shirt or a towel, add ice pack, and then you make sure not to get direct touching between the ice pack and your scrotum. But this will help not overheat your scrotum while you are in the sauna. And then I would only supplement with melatonin if I found a truly safe and trustworthy source without any added fillers. And I would take it before bedtime, of course. You can also increase blood flow and increase testosterone naturally. Sounds crazy, right? But I personally know thousands of men, including myself, who already have. Check out the testosterone boosting video after this to learn all the ways to boost testosterone levels naturally. But I'm still going to give some in this video as well. I bet the first thing you think of when it comes to boosting blood flow is beets. We hear that they're high in nitric oxide and therefore increase blood flow. Now, this does have some validity to it, as beetroot has been shown to increase nitric oxide by 21.3%. But there are two other more impressive herbs that put this beetroot to shame. One is the schizandra berry, which has been clinically shown to increase the body's nitric oxide producing cells in the brain and organs. And this blood flow serves two very important functions for your hormones. First, it provides a protective coated layer that cushions and protects your cells from external toxins. And second, Schizandra chinensis has been shown to increase the specific pathways, the cGMP and cAMP, that trigger nitric oxide, and therefore how you get and maintain pitch tense. This creates an environment of full blood flow throughout your entire body. Not to mention the ability to expand arteries and veins, to help clear out the mycotoxin plaques, and add the bonus of rock hard blood flow downstairs too. There is also black ginger, which has also been shown to improve nitric oxide production naturally. And I personally have tried all three of these many times. And I will say the best blood flow benefits for me and the other men I've spoken to come from schizandra and black ginger compared to the beet. I still like beets. I still eat them all the time. But when I really want to get that blood flow pumping, I go with the two big guns. Schizandra is the one that has the most clinical studies in humans backing it up as well. So that is by far the most tried and true. And when it comes to testosterone, there are those natural methods that I referenced in the video earlier that you should definitely go check out after this video if you want to take your testosterone and hormonal health seriously. So you can truly harness your masculine edge and be able to live in a way that boosts your testosterone naturally through your own actions. But any testosterone talk would be amiss without mentioning one of the most clinically studied natural ways to improve your testosterone. And that is the 4.3 kilodalton peptide Tongkat Ali. In a 2013 study conducted with the International Society of Sports Nutrition, they found that Tongkat Ali was shown to increase testosterone by 37% just after 4 weeks of use without the scary side effects. In a 2020 study in young males published in the International Journal of Andrology, focusing on men's hormones, Tongkat Ali was shown to not only loosen up that overbearing bond between the xenoestrogens and your precious receptors, but also to boost free testosterone by 34% over 2 weeks. Now, I mentioned that peptide, that 4.3 kDa peptide, because most Tongkat Alis that you can find online don't actually have it. They're not up to the quality standards that you need to get the benefits. Most are going to be improperly sourced and not have the beneficial peptides that you're looking for to boost T levels. On top of that, these natural peptides and compounds that have these benefits are also fragile. And even if it does happen to have them at the beginning, they will most likely be destroyed in the processing from the root to the powder. And this is why quality is so crucial for the real benefits. Otherwise, you're mostly just getting a placebo. Better than nothing, but usually not worth it. So I bet if you're a red-blooded human, you're probably very happy knowing that this balanced testosterone and blood flow benefits your cardiovascular health and performance.
So it sounds like just increasing blood flow and lowering blood pressure slightly is just a good thing all around.
But most dudes, including myself, probably have the same question. What about my partner downstairs? Because when the conversation of blood flow arises, it usually entails that something else is rising too. This is where that ENOS activation from our buddy Shajandra Berry also really comes in handy, as well as testosterone's importance and role in this grand rising. In the context of ED, testosterone plays a pivotal role in facilitating NO-mediated vasodilation. And this is within the corpus cavernosum, which are those two spongy cylinders inside your belt buckle, buddy. We both know what we're talking about here. And studies have also demonstrated that testosterone deficiency actually impairs your man member responses. And this is due to decreased NOS activity in that tissue that we were just talking about a few seconds ago. But conversely, the normalization of testosterone levels enhances NO production, leading to improved pant partner function, not to mention a healthy, balanced testosterone role in PDE5 protein inhibition, which is the same active ingredient in those pills that people are taking to get it up. So not only does the right blood flow and testosterone help you get it up, but it also helps you keep it up. Are you keeping up here? Also, for all the ladies out there or that special lady in your life, the right hormone balance leads to more blood flow benefits down there as well, especially when it comes to sensation and desire. So before you think it's a good idea to just start popping blood boosting pills and injecting testosterone and other mysterious fluids into your body, remember that there is a limit here. And too much can actually do even more damage than too little. Some of this damage is even irreversible, which means there's no coming back. That is why you need to let the body do it naturally. And that is exactly what is going to get you to peak performance and health. And that, my friends, is the magical friendship between testosterone and blood flow. They work hand in hand to protect your heart, boost your masculinity, and then get your manhood up and keep it up. So as always, like and subscribe for your health.